Evening, this is Eswatini TV News at 8. I'm Natalie Tole alongside Zamanzi Manze. First up, let's have a look at our top stories. Former Eswatini Standards Authority CEO Mavela Vilane has been appointed as the new National Maize Cooperation's Chief Executive Officer. The European Union has donated an ambulance to the Bapalali Eswatini Red Cross Society. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development applauds the thousands of Emaswati who have registered for this year's local government elections. Glad to have your company. Mavela Vilane has been appointed as the new National Maize Corporation CEO. Vilane was unveiled by the Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, who also announced the appointment of Shirley Mota as the new Chief Financial Officer for NMC.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has unveiled Mavela Vilane as the new National Maize Corporation CEO. Vilane has worked for SWASA as CEO for 2 years. The minister also announced the appointment of Shirley Mota as the new Chief Financial Officer for NMC. Speaking during the unveiling ceremony, the minister said the ministry's target is to attain self-sufficiency in white maize production. Therefore, the new NMC executive has a huge role to play in ensuring food security in the country.
We are hopeful that with these new executive appointments, the National Maize Corporation will be transformed into a more agile government agency to deliver on the mandate of ensuring that the country is food secure in terms of its staple food, which is white maize and other grains. The ministry's target in this regard is to attain self-sufficiency in white maize production.
The new appointed executive then forwarded their words of appreciation.
We pledge ourselves, Honourable Minister, PS and the board, as the management of NMC, to work tirelessly to ensure that we do everything efficiently and effectively. We put the necessary controls in place, and the financial stability that is so desired, we explore means of ensuring that the organization is able to overcome the financial challenges that it is faced with.
The National Maize Corporation is also mandated to increase the production of rice, beans, and other grains in the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Suekhoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini Mpapane.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has expressed the ministry's sympathy to farmers who incurred losses due to effects of a heat wave that hit the country in the past 2 weeks. The minister has encouraged farmers to work together with extension officers to ensure food security in the country. The minister has been speaking during an unveiling ceremony of the new National Maize Corporation CEO.
Following a heat wave that hit the southern African region, including Eswatini in the last few weeks, that wilted maize in the fields, the Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has expressed the ministry's sympathy to the farmers who had already incurred losses. The minister also encouraged farmers and extension officers to engage and explore agronomic measures that may be undertaken to rejuvenate crops.
The ministry is already getting reports of total crop failure in some communities, mostly in the drier areas, while also in the high field, some crops are already showing signs of water and heat stress. The ministry is very concerned with this development as the season continues to unfold. We would like to express our sympathy to the farmers who have already incurred losses, and also to those who may end up having less than expected yields due to this dry spell. The ministry will soon embark on a crop assessment exercise to determine the extent of the damage and reset the outlook of the likely harvest for the 2022-2023 farming season.
The minister also urged NGOs and the private sector to consider and come up with support or solutions that may be explored to ensure that the country has adequate local supplies of maize. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Suekhoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini Mpapane.
The European Union ambassador to Eswatini, Desislava Shimalova, says it is their mandate to ensure that everyone in need of first aid assistance is reached on time. The ambassador has been speaking during an ambulance handover ceremony donated by the EU to the Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society on Friday.
The European Union has donated an ambulance worth 1 million emalangeni to the Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society to assist in life-saving emergencies in the country. Speaking during the handover ceremony, EU Ambassador to Eswatini Desislava Chumelova said the partnership with Red Cross is a guarantee that assistance reaches those who are in need on time.
The very negative impact of climate change on us, extreme weather, the recent hailstorms. So in such circumstances, we are always there to support the most vulnerable, also to help prevent both loss of life and damages to the extent possible. In that sense, preparedness and prevention are the silent heroes of humanitarian assistance.
In appreciation, the president of Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society, Bongan Masugu, said there was a great need to have first aid support increased.
This vehicle comes at a time when we needed to increase our capacity as a national society to respond to health and first aid emergencies.
Apart from this support, EU and Baphalali currently work together on a 3-year program to provide life-saving assistance to the most vulnerable in Maswati. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Suekoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Babane.
In an effort to meet the tourism sector's targets that by 2025, Eswatini will receive 2 million tourists and generate 22 billion in revenue, the Eswatini Tourism Authority has held a workshop with its stakeholders, mainly accommodation operators, to ensure these targets. The authority's Chief Executive Officer, Linda Nxumalo, says the number of tourists visiting the country is impressive.
Eswatini Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo says the workshop aims to discuss the regulatory part of the industry operations like bed levy, registration as well as grading with accommodation operators.
Today is a day we are also going to look at our roadmap, where we are going as an organization, as an authority, and how industry can support the strategic aspirations of ETA. One must say that our targets are such that we are supposed to double our arrival numbers and also double our tourism receipts.
Hospitality and Tourism Association of Eswatini Chairperson Marquardt says some of the challenges include poor roads.
The cost of internet. As an industry, we must provide that for free to our customers, yet we are the most expensive in the region. The other one is statistics. As to the validity of the statistics that are being collected, we believe that maybe 30–50% of the statistics are not being collected.
Royal Villa Sales and Marketing Officer Thandeka Dlamini says as accommodation operators, they ensure that tourists have information about places of interest around the country, especially those that are near where they are booked.
Sitawukwenda kuze sirichele sitele libandla la tourism ukuthi richele target kwekuthi si market sakhe budlelwane lobucinile nalawo mave.
The importance of creating a conducive environment for tourists was also discussed. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Reggie Dlamini Ezulwini.
Over 10,000 people have registered for the local government elections that are expected to be conducted later this year. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development Local Government Elections Coordinator Melusi Hlanze says the numbers of those registered for the local elections are quite impressive.
We've got numbers surpassing 10,000, and we are expecting people to continue registering. We are seeing quite a number of towns taking a giant leap on the election issues, while there are some towns which are lagging behind. We like to encourage towns like Malkens, Ezulwini and Matapa to also come out in numbers for the registration. So we like to encourage those people who own properties in town that it is their responsibilities to ensure that they participate in all the activities that relates to the development of the town. Elections is one of them. Elections assist all those people who own properties to choose among themselves. People will be able to give proper policies or policies that can ensure that their properties are protected against undervaluation. Also, those people who are residing in towns, they've got much interest to oversee that they receive services throughout.
The Ministry of Health is worried about the high number of stillbirths and neonatal deaths in the country. The Sexual Reproductive Health Programs Manager in the Ministry of Health, Bonsile Nhlabati, encourages women to do prenatal care checkups in order to curb this challenge. The Ministry of Health had a training for health workers at the George Hotel in Manzini.
Abaye kuyosipopolisa sisu. Ngani ngoba sifuna ukuthi sithole kusengaka asengafika esikhathini sekuthi ngabe uyabeleka ukuthi kunetinkinga yini la nato. Tiningi tinkinga make la ngaba nato, angaba nabo qonsula, khona lo qonsula lo vele nje uphese soqonza kumntwana. Uthi na uthi uyambeleka umntwana umkhanze ukuthi sowudlekile, sowufile futhi. So ke tonke leto nivele lethi sicucudela ukuthi bomake abede ngala nabasetethwele bede ekliniki batoti popola leto nivele.
Bonsile Nhlabasi, the Sexual Reproductive Health Programs Manager, encourages pregnant women to constantly visit health centers for prenatal care checkups as the child may be exposed to some STIs. According to data from the Ministry of Health, stillbirths and neonatal deaths are increasing, which has prompted the ministry to train health workers in a bid to decrease the numbers. Reporting I am Kian Msibi Mubashongwe at the George Hotel in Manzini.
The various town council PROs are pleading with members of the public and motorists to give each other time and bear with one another when traffic lights are faulty to avoid unnecessary accidents. The public relation officers say the municipalities sometimes deliberately switch off the traffic lights during road maintenance.
Traffic lights are sometimes faulty, which confuses both pedestrians and motorists. In Manzini at Zakele area, those traffic lights haven't functioned for the longest time. We asked the Manzini Town Council PRO Matogoza Twala if it is expensive to maintain the traffic lights and what has been the cause. Twala says they were switched off purposely after a request by motorists looking at the traffic during the rush hours of the early morning where traffic flows from one side only. Twala assures the nation that Manzini town traffic lights are functioning and up to standard. Sihle Slongonyane, the Matsapa Town Council PRO, on the other hand, says traffic lights in Matsapa are functioning very well. Disturbances may be caused by road maintenance or copper wire theft. Coming to Mbabane, Mangwane traffic lights haven't been functioning for the longest time. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport says it is because of the copper wire that has been stolen ages ago. The traffic lights at Mbabane Government Hospital, only one is faulty, where cars have hit one another recently due to the faulty traffic lights. The Town Council's PRO, Lakisa Bete, says they will attend to the traffic lights problem. Reporting I am Kian Msibi with Smuva Shongwe.
Let's have a look at our financial indicators.
It can be.
And in our sports news, Eswatini Volleyball Association President Mbendulo Dlamini says this year they will collaborate with the International Volleyball Federation to try and capacitate local coaches and referees on latest rules and regulations of the sport. We have a report.
With the 2023 expected to be yet another exciting year for the Eswatini Volleyball Association, the association's president Mbendulo Dlamini says in order to improve the league and the sport at large in the country, different courses will be conducted under different departments.
Secondly, lebe sikufisile kuthi nayingakaqala isizini we will have crash courses le kufanele ukuthi bahlangane.
Some of the courses highlighted by Dlamini include coaching courses and referee courses, which are expected to grow and develop the standard of the sport in the country.
Lokunye loku pipeline kutabanga lokuthi nabo bo coach we have applied and we hope nakuhambe kahle sitayithola i-coaching course level 2 ngoba incumbi yabo coach bethu linyendi labo ba na level 1 coaching course.
Some of the local clubs such as Correctional, Royal Eswatini Police Services, Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force will be back to action once the league resume, looking to once again fight for the title. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Babane.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our top stories. Former Eswatini Standards Authority CEO Mavela Vilane has been appointed as the new National Maize Cooperation's Chief Executive Officer. The European Union has donated an ambulance to the Bapalali Eswatini Red Cross Society. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development applauds the thousands of Emaswati who have registered for this year's local government elections. And that brings us to the end of our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the update from myself and the news team here at Eswatini TV. Many thanks for your company. Good night.
It's back to school, back to early mornings, back to routine, back to homework, uniforms and school lunches. So, we've got specials to get you back to school with a smile. Like 200-gram Nescafe Classic Coffee for only $79.99 and 1.5-litre Coca-Cola Regular. Buy 2 for just 34 emalangeni. Plus, we're giving away extra smiles with a cash bursary worth 10,000 emalangeni. Only at Spar.